Hi everyone, today I want to talk about an anime that is exactly like My Dress-Up Darling, but released prior to the currently popular Winter 2022 title. The anime is called Smile on the Runway, a 2020 anime that had a manga serialization in Kodansha's Weekly Shonen magazine from May 2017 to July 2021. The two titles are the same in that they both have a male protagonist that makes clothes, both have a girl who wears the clothes made by the male protagonist, and thus the two characters empower one another and help each other grow. Both of the waifus are blonde and have charming features, and both pretty much start exactly the same way, with the female protagonist briefly talking to the male lead in a classroom, and then talking to him a second time in a club dressing room, where their bond truly begins to take shape. However, Smile on the Runway didn't get the same hype and attention as My Dress-Up Darling. There are definitely more people talking about My Dress-Up Darling, and there's definitely way more Marin Kitagawa art blowing up on Twitter and my Discord than there was Chiyuki Fujito fan art. I mean, I don't think a single person made Chiyuki fan art, or at least Pixiv and other sources don't seem to think so. So now you might be wondering how two stories could be so similar, while one managed to grab everyone's attention far more than its predecessor. I think I have solid insights to answer this mystery, but first, let's explore the similarities and differences among the plots and characters a bit more closely. And as a fair warning, I may discuss a few specific examples from the first 3 episodes of each anime. So no major spoilers, but I'll definitely have to point your attention to some key moments. Let's begin our discussion by looking at the plots of each anime. It's just boys making clothes for girls and then characters grow alongside one another, right? The two anime are basically twins. Well, no. Both My Dress-Up Darling and Smile on the Runway fall under the slice of life genre. But My Dress-Up Darling is a rom-com that definitely feels romance-driven, as we constantly see Gojo blushing, Marin flirtatiously teasing him, and other moments of closeness. Meanwhile, Smile on the Runway is more drama-driven, with a strong emphasis on character growth. I think a key example of this lies in a big difference between Ikuto and Gojo. Gojo is very much into doll making, and that leads to his skill making clothes, and creating cosplays for Marin. But we don't actually get to see Gojo working at his doll making craft much. Ikuto, on the other hand, is constantly using his sewing skills to craft new pieces and get one step closer to his goal of becoming a fashion designer. Likewise, Marin Kitagawa enjoys cosplay, but other than having a new outfit created, a larger goal for her seems unclear. With Chiyuki Fujito, however, we know that her goal is to become a hypermodel for her father's brand, and someday go to Paris for her modeling. Another difference we see in how the story plays out among these two anime is that My Dress-Up Darling is clearly more littered with fan service, episode 2 being an especially clear indication of that. Meanwhile, Smile on the Runway doesn't have as many scenes that will invoke your lust for Chiyuki. She's definitely a top-tier blonde-haired, blue-eyed waifu, and there are certainly scenes that showcase her anatomy, but even those scenes are purposeful to the story, as it gives insights into life behind the scenes for a model as they are changing outfits to get their jobs done. Now let's take a look at the characters and start with our two male leads. Ikuto Sumura and Wakana Gojo are similar in the sense that they are both male characters that our female protagonists can depend on. Marin relies on Gojo to create her cosplay outfits so that she can become the characters she so deeply admires. And Chiyuki firmly believes in Ikuto's ability to create outfits that can really make her shine as a model, despite the fact that most people see her short height as an impossible obstacle to overcome in the world of modeling. However, both Ikuto and Gojo are also very different. One thing that stands out strongly to me is that Gojo is very considerate, but in a way that makes him seem like a complete coward. He was overly flustered when he had to take Marin's measurements in episode 2, to the point that I found it more annoying than comedic. He's equally as flustered just for standing outside her changing room while they're out shopping, and perhaps worst of all, he avoids her for a short time after he overhears a girl say that he and Marin can't possibly be dating. Personally, at this point, I would have preferred for him to just go up to Marin and say, "Listen, some people are starting to talk, so we may need to backhand some of these hoes." But instead, he avoids her, and luckily for him, Marin is persistent as hell and isn't bothered by what everyone else might say. Another big characteristic of Gojo is that he is definitely a simp. I mean, we see him dreaming about Marin, and then he wakes up with morning wood and bright red cheeks like a schoolgirl that just saw her senpai. And these cowardly and simp-like characteristics are traits that we don't often see with Ikuto. Although Ikuto does, at times, blush or get embarrassed if Chiyuki is too close. Instead, with Ikuto, I think we see a lot more confidence. This particularly shines through when he gets rejected for opportunities working with designers, and he quickly stands up for and asserts himself while explaining that he does make mistakes, but is self-taught and genuinely needs the chance to grow as a designer and make his dreams a reality. Ikuto also just seems to have more obstacles to overcome, one big obstacle being whether he can become a fashion designer by attending university or just finding the right work opportunities. And since he has 3 younger sisters, the cost of attending a university might not be in the cards for him. Now let's move on to our waifus. Marin and Chiyuki are both extremely confident characters. We can see Marin's confidence in how she doesn't care about people spreading rumors that she might be dating Gojo, or how she doesn't seem flustered while undressing in front of him. And we can see Chiyuki's confidence, since she continues to persevere in trying to become a model despite everyone telling her that it will be impossible because of her height. Both Marin and Chiyuki are also extremely optimistic. They're both usually smiling, and Chiyuki continues to smile and have a positive outlook, even while trembling when the odds seem to be stacked against her. Both girls also seem to be rather sociable with a good group of friends, no doubt a result of their positive personalities. I think the key differences in both Marin and Chiyuki's personalities arise as a result of the genres that each anime represents. Since My Dress-Up Darling is a rom-com, Marin comes off as more charismatic and potentially affectionate, which we see when she just casually tosses her arm around Gojo, or calls him her friend with a big cheerful smile. Marin also tends to come off as a flirtatious tease, who can easily rival teasing master Takagi-san herself, as seen when Marin says that maybe she and Gojo should start dating, or offers to wear something a little sexier to repay him for all his efforts. Chiyuki, on the other hand, isn't focused on flirtations. She seems to view Ikuto more as a powerful ally who can help her show the world that nothing is impossible. And the fact that she has her sights set so clearly on such a high goal makes her seem like more of a mature character. We also see the same persistence with Chiyuki that we see with Ikuto. Ikuto asserted himself with confidence to hold on to his opportunity as a fashion designer, as I mentioned earlier, and Chiyuki keeps returning over and over again to apply as a model for her father's company, despite being rejected several times by a model that she looks up to. So while Marin seems like a more playful and energetic character, Chiyuki seems more mature and independent. But another key difference between Chiyuki and Marin is, that's right, you guessed it, the merch. I mentioned earlier that Chiyuki Fujito fan art is nearly non-existent, and guess what? The same applies when it comes to merchandise. You can find dozens of Marin Kitagawa posters for sale, and I don't doubt that there will be a figurine of her soon. However, Smile on the Runway has been out for 2 years now, and all I could find for Chiyuki Fujito merch was some sort of fragrance that reminded me of the Gwyneth Paltrow candles. So now you know how My Dress-Up Darling and Smile on the Runway are similar and different, so let's go back to contemplating the deeper meaning of why they aren't equally as popular. At first I thought the difference in popularity arose from the fan service, since My Dress-Up Darling has opie, cake, and thighs staring you in the face. But I think the real differences lie in the backbones of both anime. My Dress-Up Darling gives viewers a concept that they are all familiar with: cosplay. Most anime and manga fans have probably been to a convention at least once and either cosplayed as a character themselves, or seen different people cosplaying either in person or online. Meanwhile, Smile on the Runway had modeling and fashion as its backbone, a theme that many viewers might not be as familiar with and may not be interested in exploring. Hell, I'll be honest, I'm not interested in modeling or fashion. So if that's all I knew about the anime before watching, I probably wouldn't have given it a shot. What ended up allowing me to give Smile on the Runway a chance was that I heard it described as both a shonen and a shoujo, which I found pretty unique since they are both very different genres. I also heard that Smile on the Runway had a tournament arc, so I was like, F it, we gotta see that. And of course, what pulled me in after was Chiyuki Fujito's beauty, both in terms of her looks and her personality, and the desire to see both characters grow and achieve their goals. So what I'm saying is, both My Dress-Up Darling and Smile on the Runway are freaking good anime, and most of you are probably already simping the hell out of My Dress-Up Darling. So if you're wondering what to watch next and are dying for an anime with a similar concept, I encourage you to check out Smile on the Runway. Hopefully these two anime will continue to inspire more anime with a similar feel, as they are both very cute, enjoyable, and inspirational titles to experience. Thanks for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe for more anime, manga, gaming, and figure unboxing content. Like the video if you want more content like this, and comment to let me know if you've seen other anime like these two, or what anime you might like to hear me discuss next. See ya.